What up, folks? I'm back once again doing another video game review, and this time I'm reviewing Medal of Honor Infiltrator, and it's pretty much an exclusive to Game Boy Advance. It was released back in 2003 by EA Games along with Medal of Honor Rising Sun, mainly because the GameCube version of Medal of Honor Rising Sun is pretty much compatible with the Game Boy Advance because the screen to the Game Boy Advance screen serves as a map for when you're on a particular mission in on the Rising Sun. It'll show you like ammo for particular weapons that you were using for a stage. Show you food, it can show you like where the enemies are, where your comrades are, stuff like that. That was pretty much the main reason it was released in 2003 for Game Boy Advance. And the plot of the game is pretty much Corporal Jake Murphy is sent to fight the Axis and stuff during World War II. And it has 5 missions that's separated into 15 stages, and you pretty much start off with a Thompson and some hand grenades. But through like different points in a particular stage, you can switch with another like weapon. Like in the first stage, they have you switching. You can switch trade the Thompson and grenades with the M1 Garand and some satchel charges, but for the most part, the reason for that particular switch is because you're going to need the satchel charges, and once you're done, once you use the satchel charges, you can go back where you found it and trade back to the Thompson. As far as the weapons are concerned, there are other weapons you will use throughout the course of the game, like M1 Garand that I've already mentioned, the 1911 hand grenade, the BAR, the STG-44, the MP-40, the MG-42, a couple of versions of the LeBron M2, the bazooka, the German, the grenades that was used by the Nazis, and the MK2 hand grenades. Now I forgot, you do use the Panzer Shrek too in this particular game, and the shotgun is not in this game, even though it is a staple of the rest of the series due to the fact that the other Medal of Honor games are first-person shooters, and majority of, and particularly most first-person shooters do have shotguns, but Medal of Honor Infiltrator is not a first-person shooter, it's a top-down shooter, you know. Plus you can grab med kits to restore your health when you like get shot and everything. And it's something else about the game that it's not, that you won't see in the rest of the Medal of Honor games, is that you actually have 3 lives instead of 1. And that's like going back to to the NES and Super Nintendo days, where you had like 3 lives, at least 3 lives to start out with. Now, the graphics are, one thing you know about it is that it is kind of muddy, but it does have good color palette though. You know what I'm saying? So because Medal of Honor Infiltrator does look muddy, it hasn't changed, aged well slightly because of it. But it was like the color palette pretty much made up for it in my mind. And the level design is pretty decent also. And the gameplay is pretty good It's also fluent. It's one of those games where you can just like pick up and play. It's pretty much like Fag. It's one of those games. It's not like what do I got to do? What button do I have to push to play it? You know, it's not one of those. It's pretty good. Probably not the best gameplay compared to other Game Boy Advance games, but it holds its own. You know, and the soundtrack is pretty good, and it's something that I would expect from a Medal of Honor game within the franchise. And I can honestly say that either the I would say either the soundtrack or the gameplay is the best part of Medal of Honor Infiltrator. Honestly, the Medal of Honor Infiltrator is the most underrated game within the Medal of Honor franchise, mainly because, in my opinion, most fans of this franchise don't talk about this particular game for some reason. Maybe it's because it's on Game Boy Advance, maybe because the graphics are kind of muddy. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it is an underrated game. From an overall standpoint, Medal of Honor Infiltrator is a very fun game to play, and I would recommend it to any gamer who owns a Game Boy Advance and gamers who are fan of the franchise. And I would definitely recommend it to any gamer that owns Medal of Honor Rise of Sun for the GameCube because of the fact that it is compatible with the Game Boy Advance, and you're going to need Medal of Honor Infiltrator to use the map on the screen. Now, as far as the score is concerned, I would definitely give it an 8. It's fun, you know what I'm saying? It is underrated in my opinion when you compare it to other Medal of Honor games, like especially Frontline, you know. Now, with that being said, if you like Medal of Honor Frontline, not Frontline, Infiltrator, if you like Medal of Honor Infiltrator, you can mention it in the comment section of this video. If it happens to be one of your favorite games on the Game Boy Advance, you can also mention it. If you like this review of Medal of Honor Infiltrator, don't hesitate to click the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe. This is your boy Big Metroid Fan 12 signing off.